Kelly Behun, oh my God, this is such a pleasure to be with you. I love your work, and I'm so excited to have this conversation today.
Martyn, I feel the same, and why I'm particularly excited. Some people in life you meet and you feel like you've known forever. And I mean, I know of your work for many years, and I'm a huge fan, big girl crush.
Thank you.
But we met 2 weeks ago in LA, and
instant love.
And here we are, and instant love.
And your style is so recognizable instantaneously. So what is it? What feeds your design soul?
I went to business school, and then I did, different sort of careers, and it wasn't until I worked for Ian Schrager in his design studio for hospitality that I finally realized this doesn't just have to be a hobby. I think at a young age I was like, oh, this is just some sort of compulsion, that you feel like, oh, in this restaurant the lighting isn't quite right or something. It was just more of, it came so naturally, it never occurred to me that it could be a career. It took me a long time. I took a lot of tangents and pivots to other things before I realized. I mean, did you always know?
No, it's interesting. I've never had any training at all for this. Not at all.
Yeah.
And so, although my mum tells me that from like the age of 4, I used to rearrange all the doll's house furniture in my sister's doll's houses.
It had to be done.
It had to be done. And I would get chalkboards and I'd draw like sort of rooms and stick furniture on these chalkboards.
At 4?
At 4, yes. Eventually moved to LA when I was 21.
Oh.
I ended up working for, Liz Heller was her name, ended up working for Liz, and then Liz invited me to her wedding through a series of crazy events. And I didn't really realize that Liz was Hollywood royalty. Her father had been Liberace's manager.
Wow.
Her husband's father directed at a My Fair Lady or something wild and won all these Oscars. They were really like in the heart of it all.
Yeah.
And so at the wedding, they sat me next to Cheryl Tiegs, who was the world's first ever supermodel.
Love.
By the end of the wedding, she hired me to do her house, which was my first real job.
Wow.
And 9 months later, we had 6 magazine covers around the world.
Okay,
And that's when I realized my career was about to happen.
Yours is not the typical story.
No, it's not.
It
It's
really
not at
isn't.
all.
One of the first times I got to do something where I really felt, oh, this could be something, and I was probably around 12. So you were, in your stall somewhere in London, and I was so excited because my parents allowed me to redesign my room. And it was very kind of maybe a very early Martyn Lawrence Bullard kind of style. It was like a white lacquer platform bed. And I came from like this very traditional...
Liking the sound of this already.
Oh my God, it was a platform bed with this very kind of groovy quilt and a shag carpet. And then I remember I think we found it at a thrift store.
I just love that word, shag carpet.
Shag
so
carpet.
divine. Makes me think immediately of mad 70s twirling.
Wall to wall, of course.
Of course.
I think it was orange. And then we went to a thrift store and there was this 70s kind of Werner Panton-esque, like, I don't know, some sort of like plastic, but like a flower. And that was the ceiling fixture. And it so transformed me. Like, I had more confidence. I was so proud to have people come over. I felt like my true self. Like, every time I walked into that room, it was so empowering and transforming because I felt like it was me, and I had never really understood before that, my room was sort of nice and whatever. And I think it just in general speaks to the power of a room transforming experience.
I want to be in that room now. It sounds amazing.
I want to be in that room. I mean, it really, I wish I had a good picture because it was very shades of Martyn.
I'm seeing your next collection with a giant white lacquered flower light fixture.
I think
I feel like coming.
I think this is
Hudson Valley, watch out.
I love it.
One of my favorite projects of yours has got to be the one that you did for Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz, because that project, not only is the architecture amazing, but what you did with it, so magical and so breathtakingly beautiful.
Yes.
I loved that job of yours.
Yeah. And it almost felt like a legacy project for me. It was really so quintessentially modern and angular and almost futuristic, even though it's however many...
Although classical in a way.
In a way, yes. And that's so interesting. Most people don't realize that, but when you get in it and you see how the rooms flow together and the volumes, there was that element. And I think everyone was a bit afraid to do something to it because there's an austerity to it that feels almost, sacred, like untouchable. And there they were, this young family with 2 kids and a dog and, friends and family. And so it was beautiful to see that house so alive. And I think, Wallace Cunningham, the architect, felt the same because it had always been just this kind of almost like superhero or almost like a villain perched up there on the cliff. So that was a great joy to work on that. And I don't even know where to begin with you, because your roster of clients reads like, I don't even know, Cher and Elton John and the Kardashian Jenner. I mean,
it's been amazing
juggling.
though. Obviously, yes, I have a huge amount of sort of celebrity clientele, amazing actors and singers and people like that, which comes from being based in Hollywood as well a lot. But
well, not just that.
Well,
though.
not
There's
just
more
that,
to
but,
it than that.
You get to work with these creative people who...
It's inspiring.
Well, and they live out their fantasies. Cher, for instance, in my first meeting with Cher, she said to me, "I want to live like the first wife of a Maharaja."
I'm gonna have to use that.
I was
That's
like, the first wife of a Maharaja? Why the first wife of a Maharaja? She said, because she's the one that gets all the luxury.
Oh my gosh.
And so...
How brilliant.
And so, I flew to India, I bought the facade of a palace that was being demolished. I brought it all back and we created her fantasy, her life set.
Even if it's not Cher, your home is something of a stage set. It's this stage on which you live out your life and your family's lives.
It's the one place we all get to star in.
Yeah. I'm going to write that down. I know you've done books of your beautiful interiors, but the thing that I said to you in Los Angeles when we met is you need to do the book, the stories behind, because that will be a bestseller.
Might need a few people to die first. But
I think we all know from an early age, although you may not be able to articulate precisely why, we all know how important lighting is.
Oh my God,
in
so
a room. There's architectural lighting, which is important, one of the things you were speaking about. The decorative lighting, which is what we've done with Hudson Valley, is so key, because you don't want to walk into a room that like you said, is overlit, because it feels like you're going to do, I don't know, a root canal or something. Like it takes all of the mystery and the beauty and the layered qualities of the room away. Yeah. I think about times of day, and I think something about high noon is the least interesting, because the light is directly overhead, everything is very flat and even.
Exactly.
It's sunrise, it's sunset when you get some shadow, and I think the interesting thing about light is sometimes it's not the light, but it's almost the darkness that's next to it.
Lighting is everything. For me, particularly working in Hollywood, people are really full on about lighting because they understand it. They know what makes them look good or looks bad. Right. I mean, when I worked for all the Kardashians, where they film in their houses all the time, we had to make sure that the lighting was camera ready constantly. Oh, there are little lights that sit hidden in the ceilings that turn on and kind of, remove every line possible.
I need those.
I'd like to have an umbrella that walked around with me that had that light. Wouldn't that be great?
I need those.
But Corbett particularly likes large pieces in their collection, statement pieces. And so we got to have the luxury of creating large-scale things. And it does, it grounds the space. Yeah. It brings the drama.
Yeah. No, it transforms the space.
Totally
completely.
Totally does. What I love from your collection are the lamps, because they're like pieces of art. They're sculpture. And that's so glamorous.
It's so funny you say that. So you're talking about like the drama piece, and I feel like, I'm sure you agree, you think about these decorative fixtures, and a good part of the day they're turned off. You don't necessarily need to turn them on, so they better look good both on and off, and they better have a beauty and a sculptural quality, or be additive to the space and not just taking up space, and not just purely functional. And I like that about your line as well. I feel like you have a range, because I think people think of your work and it's bold and beautiful and there's a confidence to your work, but I just love seeing that you also have some more subtle pieces.
I don't want somebody to walk into one of my interiors and go, "Oh, that's a Martyn Lawrence Bullard interior." I want you to walk in and go, "Your home is amazing.
Yes.
It's so you."
And a reflection of you, 100%. That's the highest compliment.
And so you want to capture people's personality in the mix. And that's why, when I had this free hand with this collection, I wanted to do everything that was a bit of an influence, like a South Seas moment, a mid-century moment, a futurist moment, a traditionalized moment. I wanted a little bit of everything. I used a lot of brass in my collection because I love the warmth of brass. I love the fact that it's sort of come back in fashion, and I like the way it reflects a golden glow into the space, whether it's on or off, as you said earlier.
Exactly right.
And so that was an important factor to my collection. And we literally used artisans from all over the world.
Well, that's what's been so fun about working with Hudson Valley, is they have such a roster of makers and artisans and factories and all over the world, and they were really adept at figuring out like, oh, you want to work in this particular material, we're going to do it here. I think that was the fun of it, was this license to explore and be open to different materialities. So we have ceramic, and I love the aged brass as well, and did something in the new collection called Jupiter, which is just a very, very simple fabric orb. It's just like pared down and simple. One of my more popular fixtures is this hand-blown piastre glass. So it's as though,
We've used that.
Yes. And then you see these little gold flecks that are suspended in the glass, and it's so subtle. I love that it reads differently from afar and up close. And I was blown away.
What's so pretty with those, we used a pair on a console in an entry at the Four Seasons. The light captures them and they have a wonderful sparkle.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I
but
love
subtle,
those.
yeah.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
And I also love, because I think of you as glamour and Hollywood.
Oh, thank God.
Thank God. It's better than the alternative. Tropical. You have like the are those brass?
Yeah, brass.
Oh, super pretty.
As you know, inspiration comes from everywhere. And when I was sitting at home thinking about what the next collection should have in it, I turned on Turner Classic Movies. And there was a Carmen Miranda movie.
I was going to say,
and
that's
there she was, with a pineapple on her head and like palm fronds coming out from every angle. And I thought, I have to do a tropical collection. We have to have some brass palm leaves in the middle of this.
You have to.
I should have called it the Carmen, really, but hey.
So well done.
That'll be the next one.
The next one.
My pineapple.
There's still time, right? They're so pretty. And they just bring, like, but I can see, what I love is that I can see that in an otherwise relatively minimal room.
Yeah.
And you just have this one moment, and to have
and
that.
it's also the confidence to take that and maybe go like that.
Yes.
And turn it upside down and say, oh, that's a new lampshade.
Yes.
It's the confidence to believe in that.
Yes.
That is also one of the great tricks, one of the great.
And then being clever enough, talking about being lucky and being fortunate, to align yourself with a company like Hudson Valley Lighting, and I mean it, because they have the resources.
Yeah.
So we can say, here's the idea, here's the sketch, here's the concept, here's the inspiration. You know, they're able to produce these beautiful, beautiful fixtures for prices that are pretty compelling given the amount of time and effort and craftsmanship that goes into them.
The price point is good.
Yes.
The quality is good.
Yes.
The design is exceptional.
Yes. You know what I love about design and what I love about our industry is I feel there's something inherently, truly and deeply optimistic about it. And I love being a part of that in life. You know, there's something about what we do every day that is so life-affirming, that is so inherently optimistic. And I think our design community is so supportive. And, you know, I met you and in 5 minutes you were giving me ideas about where to go and who to see. And I feel the same about you. There's just a generosity, I think, in design.
Sitting talking to you now, the pair of us, I'm sure, will walk away with some new inspiration that we've gathered from each other.
Definitely.
You have to be open to that, but when you are open to that, it makes life so colorful and wonderful.
100%. You go on this journey with clients, and then in the end, you end up friends. And I think that may be the highest compliment.
You know, you kind of know what people have got in their underwear drawers. You know, because you've had to set their underwear drawer up and light it beautifully.
Right.
So
it's true.
You know, so we know the inner workings, inner secrets. You know, when people say to me, "Oh, you know, an interior designer, you're running around with fabric and flowers," well, actually, no. We're giving marriage advice. We're picking their car. We're telling them what to wear to the Oscars. I mean, it's all rounded.
I haven't told anyone what to wear to the Oscars, but there's still time.
I love your collection. I incorporate it in my work, and I intend to incorporate that great big plaster flower you're about to design for them.
It's coming soon. Martyn, no, I truly feel the same, because I think, you know, it's a girl crush on you for a long time. So
thank you, my darling.